In this video, we're going over everything you need to know if you're moving to the Deer Park area. Maybe you live in the city of Spokane and you just want to get outside the city limits a little bit, or you're moving to Eastern Washington but want that small town feel. Deer Park can be a great option for you. So let's jump right into this video and touch on some of the important things that you should know before making that move. So the first great thing about Deer Park is that it actually has a lower average price point than Spokane, and that didn't always used to be true. Prices have come down significantly in the Deer Park area over the last 2 years. Deer Park hit a peak high of $498,000 in Q3 of 2021. And now as we've wrapped up Q2 of 2024, prices are over $100,000 less, sitting at an average of $396,000. This is also about $50,000 less than the average home in Spokane. And the cool thing about Deer Park is that the average home is significantly newer than the average home in Spokane. The average age of a home in Deer Park is about 24 years old or built in the year 2000, when the average home in Spokane was built in 1965. So there's actually a really healthy housing supply there, and you're much more likely to get a newer home than an older one. Also, something to think about when you're looking at the Deer Park area is that you're going to see houses listed for sale in Deer Park on Zillow or Redfin as you're looking, but they might not actually be in the city of Deer Park. The Deer Park Incorporation is actually the entire zip code of 99006, which is home to about 10,000 people when the city of Deer Park is home to about 4,000 people. Of all the homes sold in the 99006 zip code over the last year, over half of those homes were on an acre plus. And so if you're looking for some space, a property on some land, then the Deer Park area or zip code might be a great option for you. And now our second point is that there's great options whether you are looking on land, because it's obviously the price is still significantly cheaper than buying a house in the city of Spokane on a much smaller parcel. But then there's also a great community feel. There's an amazing HOA called the Deer Park Golf Community, where there is a small golf course in the Deer Park area. You could go buy a house on the golf course for less than $600,000. So it's a very affordable golf community. It's very quiet in the area, super peaceful. My clients just scored this beautiful home that we'll show some B-roll of for just over $600,000, completely custom built, 2,500 square foot property. And it's absolutely amazing. And this house would easily be $150,000 to $200,000 more if it was in the city of Spokane. There's also an RV resort where you could actually buy your own RV pad for about $120,000 to $150,000 right next to the golf course. And then if you're okay with not being right on the golf course, but you want to be within a couple minutes and be able to ride your golf course down to the area, you can continue south where the houses get significantly cheaper, some as low as $350,000. And then there's also a 55 plus community called Eagle Point that is going in, which they're calling them condominiums, but they are separate houses. It's a newer development, so I don't have a ton of information on it, and we'll update later, but it's a 55 plus HOA where they're going to take care of all the maintenance in the area, and you'll be able to get a smaller 2-bed, 3-bed house in that area. Now, if you're looking at living in Deer Park, but potentially working in Spokane, you should just be aware of the traffic. Now, the traffic in Deer Park is very little. Like, there's just not a lot of people. The traffic is very minimal, but getting from Spokane to Deer Park, especially during rush hour, can be challenging depending on where you're at in Spokane. If you're coming from downtown Spokane, you're going to be fighting your way all the way up Division until you can either make your way all the way to the top of Division and you connect to Highway 395, or if you're on the east side of town, you can connect to the new north-south freeway at Wellesley, where it's currently at, and then connect to 395 that way. In about 5 years from now, when 395 connects to I-90, this commute will be much easier and much more feasible for people to work in the downtown area and live in Deer Park. But right now, that downtown to Deer Park could be upwards of 45 minutes in the worst traffic. And so that's just something to account for. You're going to put miles on your car as well, because that is about a 22-mile drive. So you could be driving up to 50 miles a day. So it's just something to think about if you are working down in Spokane and then living up in Deer Park, just making sure that that commute is going to be worth it to you. Something else that's positive about the Deer Park area is that it has a small school district, the Deer Park School District. It just has one elementary, middle school, and high school, but the numbers are relatively positive for that school district. There's a 94% graduation rate. Nearly 80% of students are attending classes 90% of the time, which is higher than the school district in the Spokane area, the District 81. And class sizes are smaller than the city of Spokane at about 15 students, but the teacher to student ratio is actually a little bit higher than Spokane. I'm just wondering if that's because there's less additional teachers, maybe in the arts, or other specialty teachers, things like that. So that was just one stat that I just couldn't quite figure out. There was rumor for a while, or concern with some clients that that live in Deer Park that they're going to have to build more schools because there was the rapid growing housing, but enrollment has stayed relatively steady. There has been an increase in enrollment of, I mean, it's a small school district, so it is about 10%. It's about 200 students over the last, it looked like 8 to 10 years or so. So I'm sure at some point they'll have to build an additional school. The school district only houses about 2,700 students. And then additionally, Deer Park could be a great fit for you if you want to bypass driving through Spokane to get to nature. Now, if you're thinking that Deer Park would be a good place to live to get to Mount Spokane, you would be wrong, because you're actually on the backside of the mountain and you have to drive all the way down to the top of Spokane to Meade and then drive up to the mountain. So it's like an hour and 15-minute drive. As it's on the map, it's actually pretty close, but there's no way to cut across and come up the backside of the mountain. But you are actually closer to 49 degrees north. You're about a 45-minute drive up to that mountain. And then it's cool because you're only a 30-minute drive to Chewelah, which is another great community and is home to a 27-hole golf course if that's what you're interested in. So you're 30 minutes to another small town, 30 minutes to North Spokane. And so it's just very convenient if you are looking to live in that area. So if you're looking for a small town feel with great prices and you're okay driving in your car for entertainment, because you should know that on niche.com, Deer Park rates as a C, but it's primarily because the jobs are lacking out there, the nightlife is lacking out there, and the commute is difficult. And so if those things are not important to you and just housing and lifestyle is the most important, then I would definitely recommend it. So if you are making a move to the area or you're interested in learning more, my name is Haydn Halsted, a realtor here in the Spokane area, making videos every single week on the lifestyle and housing here in the Spokane, Washington area. If you'd like more info, you can call, text, email anytime, or use the link in the description to schedule a meeting on my calendar at a time that's convenient for you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.